Hey, it's the Scotch Test Dummies.
Let's restart. I was looking at you.
So
Something like this. Go ahead.
hey, it's the Scotch Test Dummies. I'm Scott.
Bart here.
Bart's staring at me.
I was looking right in his ear hole.
Believe it or not, Balcones. We got 13 bottles. We're going to shoot out.
We'll test it.
Early in the morning, too much to drink style.
Woo, 13, baby, 13. Isn't that the lucky number? All right, we're in. So what are we doing? Explain it. Break it down.
Probably, well, one of the last ones we did, you got way excited on.
Yeah.
The FR.OAK Shootout. I think we had 7 bottles in.
Like
7 or 8 bottles.
it's an extravaganza.
You were way excited.
Super because of the peat.
And I got perturbed.
Yeah,
That shouldn't
I was
happen
a little
today.
over the top though. Yeah.
We did have different expectations.
We did.
Though, I think
We did.
going in.
Yeah.
You was wanting
Yeah, I was
to
like,
move
go
really
shoot it,
quick
move
through
it, move.
And I was wanting
yeah,
to
you're
take
like,
time.
I need to savor it and figure it out.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
you're rushing me.
Yeah.
You don't want to rush somebody. You definitely don't want to rush this guy because then he's going to be like, I'm going to throat punch you. But
Anyway,
we've been talking for a while. We are going to do, we've got our Scotch Shootout we'll do a little bit later in the future as well. Glenallachie. The thumbs up for those have been back and forth close. So we're like, let's do it.
we wanted to do this anyway, so we said, let's just...
Yeah. So Balcones is in Waco, Texas. They're doing awesome things. They're by far probably the leading producer in Texas right now. They've got a lot of American single malts. We've got some rye in here. We've got some 100% corn. We got different types of caskings. You've labeled the back so that we can see it. And for those that can't see, we've got little glasses behind that we're going to share. Because I didn't have enough Glen
Yeah, we did not pour 2 of each.
Right.
Here.
So, but the whiskey here should kill any germs that you may try to give me.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Now,
And it prevents scurvy.
right, we've got a little bit of water here, but I've given you a water over there. This would be if we wanted to change. I don't even know if we need it.
I don't think... Yeah, let's try it without water.
Yeah.
Why add water? We're not
Right.
getting that in depth.
Yeah, we're going to go. And just in case we do need to cleanse the palate, a giant thing of pretzels.
I got some pretzels. I grabbed some out of there over here.
Nice.
Now,
so that's what the
I'll admit, I think you are a bigger fan of Balcones than I am. Obviously, you have these 13 bottles.
I am.
I like it.
I love it.
I'm not dismissing Balcones.
Right.
They're doing some great stuff.
Great stuff.
Obviously
Like it
prefer
more.
it.
Yeah.
Like it
Well,
more.
I like what they're doing
So-
with the American single malt. Now, they call it a Texas single malt, but that's a new category that's coming in, and they're really throwing some stuff out there.
There's one of these coming up right here, the
Mirador.
Mirador. It's a single malt, and of course, there's several single malts in here.
Well, what they
There's
did with
bourbons, there's corn
the
whiskeys,
Mirador, they used a refill cask.
refilled cask, so
And
it had
which-
less impact on the.
because Texas blows it up.
Yeah.
This is from Waco, and there's a lot of cask.
All right, let's get going.
Baby blue.
Baby blue,
Baby blue.
46%.
Mm-hmm.
This is roasted blue corn. This is really, I think, their initial offering or base offering.
All right, 46%. You get that heavy corn feel. A little bit of antiseptic I get from there. We were out of Glencairn, so I grabbed one of the black ones.
Well, it's still a Glencairn.
It is. That's why I grabbed it.
Oh.
It'll be the only...
a lot of
smoke.
sugar sweetness in there. It's lighter.
You say sweetness?
Sweetness. Sugar sweetness. Edgar, what happened to your
Yes,
face?
sweet
Sugar.
Sugar.
Give me sugar.
So that's the first one to try. It doesn't feel low proof. I know 46 isn't low.
And that's one thing we did too, is we're starting low proof. We're working our way up. Except for, I've guessed on the True Blue Cask Strength 10th anniversary because it was like Sharpied in there and it's wore off. We can't tell what the ABV is. But we know it's higher. It's one of the higher ones.
The corn sweetness lingers. It's still there a little bit. I get a little bit of like a sweet, almost like a cinnamon rolled dough. So not the cinnamon in it, but the dough that I like a sweet dough for cinnamon rolls. That's what I get from that baby blue.
I can see that. Lighter profile overall compared to especially some of these that are coming up. But not a bad whiskey. Not a bad whiskey at all.
This way I'm not crinkling. I have a canteen. All right, so our next one is the Texas Pot Still Bourbon, also coming in at 46% straight bourbon. Texas Pot Still Bourbon. Little perfumey, floral.
I'm starting to get the Texas heat there. There's a hint of the what we call the sagebrush.
Yes.
Coming in. Not much.
It's in the finish for me. I get a little perfuminess on the forefront, which is different.
A little floral.
Yeah.
Some rose petals almost in there. Dust. Nice.
I know I don't go back to it often, and I didn't plan on buying their bourbon again. It's okay, but I don't like that perfuminess as much. But you're right. That's the first hint. This one did not have that Texas sagebrush. It's coming in there.
Yeah, the blue corn.
Blue Cornish.
The baby blue. Baby blue did not have the hint of Texas.
So we got the Lineage. Lineage is the Texas single malt, 47%. They do something weird with the Lineage.
This was a newer release. It's 47%. I think are they importing some barley for this one? I think so. They were doing a mix, something with the barley on it. I don't remember for sure. That was from some online media. Single malt.
Yeah, so the malted barley pops through there. I get like a butter scotch cleaning wax, like a dusting wax, a lemoniness that comes through. 47%. The finish is more like a Caro syrup sweetness. Interesting.
Next to the bourbon, that one has a richer mouthfeel to it. More depth almost to it. Kind of surprised me going in. So I would think the bourbon would have had a little bit more palate than the Lineage does. But that Lineage, I think, is winning that one.
Yeah, that's interesting. I get a little bit of like what are those little cookies that are like the little wafer not wafer, but they have like it's almost like a crisp, where it's got the little cream filling in the middle, but they're light cracker type. They almost fall apart a little bit.
Ooh, I know which ones you're talking about. Yeah,
they make like,
it's like a
pink
biscuit,
ones.
like a really
they make
biscuit,
pink, and they got a waffle kind of texture to them. I get that in the finish. That's interesting.
Yeah, I would agree with all that. A little bit of cherry, a little bit of brown sugar, almost some bourbon notes in there with it.
Interesting. So we're looking, now this is a rye, 100% rye, Texas rye, 50% ABV. So we've got 100% Texas rye at a 50 ABV. I like my ryes, and you can tell I've been hitting this one. So,
Open for that glass. You know what we're not doing?
What?
Any nose at all. Of course, I'm not. Long-term COVID effects. I'm still not fully back. My nose is still hampered.
That gives me, and I'll let you maybe try the next one so we can break up the sampling here. I get a dusty, dry rye, touches of dill. The ABV's hidden here, and the finish is, what is that? That's like a caramel cookie or something.
I can tell the ABV got up here just a tad.
It went dry to sweet.
Really, really sweet. The rye notes were up front, but almost quickly went away on the finish, leaving that really sweetness, light citrus sweetness.
There's a citrus tucked in there. That's a little odd. I like it though. And then it's got a long finish. The finish is first citrus, and then it moves to this really sweet
orange zest.
Yeah. I don't remember all that. That's intriguing. Maybe that's why I've been hitting it. That is a very unique rye. There's no pepper. Like I said, there's a hint of the dill at the beginning, but it's a light hint. And then all these Yeah, the orange zest still sits there.
So next, True Blue. This is a little bit higher strength version of the Baby Blue. This is roasted blue corn at 50%. And you were going to let me start the sampling on that one, which is why I started talking.
I figured we would double it up. Yeah, when you were going, I thought, well, maybe you wanted me to take that sip in. So while you're sipping, whoo, that one's got some ABV. That one feels like more is 50.
50 still. This is straight corn whiskey as well.
Wow. That's a punch in the face. I actually don't get as many subtle flavors on that. That's like a straight up, well, the corn's all over it. But it's not as sweet as I thought it was going to be.
Your kitchen spices.
They're all in the kitchen.
Everybody points out all spices are in the kitchen. But your cinnamon, your nutmeg.
I get a little nutmeg.
Let me look at the Baby Blue next to it.
But it doesn't feel like it has any finish to it at all.
It's going on. It's
Really
definitely
kind of drops for me.
And I've told at least Matt in the liquor store about this as well, because Balcones line up here in Wichita. I've said the Baby Blue to me is really kind of the lightest of their lineup, and to do the True, if you had your pick of the two, go with the True Blue at 50%, and I agree with that still here.
Really,
I like it better. It's got a lot more punch to it, a lot more flavor. I think you can add some water to that and bring it down. I'm not going to, but I'm just saying.
Got it. Interesting. To me, that one leaves me, maybe it's coming off of that rye, but it didn't seem to have much of a finish for me. It had a little it felt like a higher ABV kick up front. I've had about the same amount. They're both at about the same level. These are two of the first bottles I got. I don't come back to them too often. So I don't think I'm overly thrilled here. That rye has my attention so far, and I like it. Very unique taste. Why don't you sip first, and I can talk about it?
Do it.
All right, Texas single malt, single barrel at 53%. So we've got a couple of those coming up here.
This one is a single barrel version of the next one, which is just the Texas single malt, and this is a single barrel of this one.
And this is a...
I told him we didn't need to do both. He said we did.
Both, just see if they're different. Yeah, so just so you know, he said we don't need them both. Same thing. I go single barrel. Not the same. Not the same. So what is it coming off? Sticker? Oh, what do you got?
Well... So I just wrote notes on the back, but this is a Texas single malt, but I saw bourbon sticking out to the side here. Well, it just has aged in used bourbon casks. So, so not virgin oak.
That's good.
Similar to the Mirador prior filled bourbon cask, 53% single malt.
Coffee notes on that. That's the finish. All kinds of chocolate, cocoa.
Chocolate. I don't know that I'm getting coffee yet.
Oh my!
Chocolate and caramel.
Oh, it's like a milk chocolate.
Milk chocolate caramel.
What the heck? What the hell? That's good.
53%. I know we said
malted barley on the open end of these chocolate.
So let's just move in. We don't even need to. So that's the single barrel version of this one. We'll move into the standard
classic edition.
Texas single malt classic edition.
Ooh. The chocolates on this are just stunning. I went in for a double. So you're on the classic now.
I like the classic better than the single barrel.
I'm glad I fought to keep them both in.
Well, I mean, they're pretty similar. And this is this. We did not say, it says on stickers on the side here on the single barrel. It's a Total Wine and More single barrel pick. So, yeah. The classic edition Texas single malt, to me, excels past the single barrel.
I don't get the chocolates, but boy, that opened with sagebrush. Sagebrush.
You know what? I haven't gotten sage since the initial. Yeah. It could be it's on the palate, and I'm just not picking it up.
Try that. It's got that sagebrush all over the front of it.
It seems a little spicier than the single barrel.
I would agree. I'm not getting any of the cocoa. So this one I get like baking cocoa. This meaning the single malt, single barrel. Wow. That's more sagebrush and sweet. I like this better. So far, that cocoa's
cinnamon.
Really interesting.
A lot of cinnamon on the classic edition single malt.
Now we're getting ready to move to what the Mirador, to me, had a whole lot of like Scotch flavored influence. That malted barley was there, but it was tailored back and complex.
It felt more like, I can remember, it's been a while, this is your bottle. It's a limited run. Mirador is a limited run that they do, I think maybe once a year.
Look how light that is too.
But
compared,
it really felt to me like an older Scotch grain whiskey.
Yeah, I picked it up.
I remember a lot of vanillas, a lot of malt character.
The nose has vanilla peeling out of it. Hold on.
Blowing it. I'm trying to cleanse my palate here a little bit. I just remember it being...
Yeah, that is... Vanilla's pouring out of there. A little bit of lemon cake.
54.8%. I know this is a batch release for them. I'm just not sure how often they do it.
A lot of different character. It is a much more subtle. It almost should be, even at that proof, I almost wish it was down here a little bit. Because it's a little more refined.
These could even be, second and third fill barrels.
Yeah. I mean, it's a smart move.
They're not drawing a lot of those, the oak, the wood, the spices. The Texas heat isn't there in this one.
This is brilliant. When I had this Mirador, it softened it up. I get the malted barley on the front. I still get some vanilla tailings in there. I feel like I'm being a little bit overwhelmed by these two, especially this one with that, because it's hanging over.
Yeah. Maltiness, vanilla wafer. Not the ones he was talking about with the cream and the
like
little circle.
Wafer. Yeah, like
circle, vanilla wafers. You bet.
One of the best cookies out there. Yeah, there's lemon moving through this. Lemon and vanilla in a softer touch. A softer palate.
I could see people, though, being disappointed with Mirador if they're used to these other Balcones, especially as we move up here, and you get into these heavily heated, heavily oaked caskings, and you come up against the Mirador, the single malt that's been aged in these prior filled barrels. And
if this is more, I think this is a great entry level for folks that love Scotch that say, let me come in and try something. Let me see what they're doing down there in Texas. Their use of the refill barrels, I don't know how many times, is smart. It's genius. Because that is a softer, lighter touch that I wouldn't expect that could come out of Waco.
Rumble, 10th anniversary. This is a spirit, not a whiskey. Because they've enhanced it or aged, added, infused. There's a honey plant, sugar, and fig. Turbinado sugar, I remember.
Apparently I like it.
See, I tried to remember without lifting the bottle.
You're right.
Texas wildflower honey, turbinado sugar, and mission fig spirit.
A lot going on there.
58.5%.
Clearly I like it. That's the lowest one I got. I've just had a pretzel.
Wow, mouthfeel is, even on the nose, I had a little bit, my nose is kind of hindered today from my long-term COVID effects, but that's the first one that I really got something off of the nose with. Strong spices.
Whoa.
Great mouthfeel. Now, this far into the lineup, I'm not getting some of those infusion spirit differences. Yeah, it's lighter, it's sweeter.
But it's a little wild. It's got, take another sip of that. It's got like both the sweetness, a little bit of sweetness from the Carol syrup, but then I feel like it's almost got a
Carol.
I don't know. I feel like it's like I'm standing in a field of wildflowers.
Yeah, there's that floral, that wildflower. Yeah, that's very nice.
Gotta try that again now.
Do it.
There's a lot going on here. Whew, whew, watch out. Just blew my nose. Too strong a sniff.
This was the 10th anniversary release of this one as well. And I don't know if Rumble is a kind of a batch release for them.
Wow.
Or if they just did this for their 10th anniversary.
Okay, this like takes over your whole palate immediately. The mid palate, I get little light hints of tobacco, but not a sweet tobacco.
Tobacco leaf.
Maybe, yeah. And then I get a little bit of ginger. And then almost something that has like a root. Like a slight sour touch of root.
Horseradish?
I don't know, maybe.
No, I just made that up.
I don't know what that is. It's weird though. It's like a dirty root.
Very nice palate. Probably one of the richest palates.
That is. There's a lot going on there. Exploration. That one needs to be by itself.
Hechiceros. This is a single malt, port finished, port wine barrel finished, 61.5%. This is a special release that they do.
Yeah, I think Hechiceros means front porch.
Hechiceros?
Yeah, Hechiceros. I mean, it's like hanging out on your covered front porch, if I remember right. My wife was like, "Oh, that's neat." She speaks Spanish.
Great story. Can't wait to hear the end of it.
Short.
Ooh, Texas heat. Definitely in this one. Rich. Brown sugars.
Yeah.
Cinnamons. Oak.
Velvety mouthfeel. Ooh, cinnamon just popped in. Wow. It's got a sting to it even.
Yeah.
That could just be the high proof, but it's got a cinnamon, brown sugar, maybe a touch of clove, and that Texas, what we call sagebrush. That Texas sagebrush is all over it. That's a beautiful American single malt right there.
Yeah.
I love that.
And you can see even now, that one's a little bit lighter compared to the FR.OAK that we're getting ready to move on to. FR.OAK is probably the darkest of the whole batch.
Yeah, dark.
I'm not necessarily sitting here today. Of course, the palate's starting to get a little saturated. Not getting the port finish of the Hechiceros. But still very good overall.
Yep, very nice.
Speaking of FR.OAK.
Yeah, we're deep in.
Actually, combination of French oak.
Yes.
FR.OAK.
Right.
Texas single malt, 61.9%. This one is a batch release for them as well.
Very nice.
And like I say, especially when you're sitting here, you can see that it's dark.
Well,
the darkest.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like coffee.
So it does, yeah. It's got a dark. Look at that. I mean, that just makes you.
Ooh. Yeah. That's the best of the bunch. That one stands out. Boy, from the second that hits your lips, it starts to take over.
That is good.
Yeah. Strong.
I get a little.
Wow. These are, I'm going to say, probably from the Rumble on, you need to spend some time with these and add some water.
Yeah.
That's really concentrated.
It is concentrated.
It's still burning.
Rich, yeah.
It's still burning down the.
So what is it though? I get a little bit of a furniture polished lemon kind of feel. Ooh, I get brown sugar. The oak is definitely in there. You get these ribbons of wood that just kind of run through.
Does it taste like French oak?
I don't know if I could pin it down to a French oak, but I mean, I get these ribbons of oak laced in there. And in the finish, which is still lingering, I get those chocolate notes again. A semi-sweet chocolate sitting on that finish. I'm with you. This is the wrong way to try a FR.OAK. You'd want to play with the water here and move it around and keep it by itself. The FR.OAK is very good.
Yeah.
Very, very good. The darkness of it is something.
I think in the lineup so far, it definitely assaulted the senses.
I like the chocolate with the single barrel still, and that rye is such an interesting rye that if you like ryes, I think you're going to love this because it's a different animal. All right, so what do we...
True Blue, Cask Strength, 10th anniversary. This is the one, we're not sure what the ABV is on it.
So here's the True Blue here.
It was in the 60s. I'm pretty sure it was 61 to 63.
So.
It was handwritten on here and it's gone.
Yeah, it's so strong it killed its number. So it's now an unknown proof. So, but this is the cask strength version of this. It's darker, a little bit, but close. What do you got there? I'm going to need it clear.
Very rich. You don't get the punch of the French oak right up front on the palate. In our lineup, this one could have been before it. Very nice. A lot of cinnamon up front. Texas. A lot of very rich sugared oak. Sugared toasted oak.
Yeah, boy, that is strong proof.
Yeah.
The toasted oak is spot on. It feels like they just scraped and almost recharred when we get those toasted oaks.
Yeah.
Because the oak is there, but it's not like a strong, deep oak. It's not over-oaked. I'm sensitive. I don't like a lot of wood oak flavors in there. But that has that, but it's not overly done.
No.
A little bit of a floralness in the finish. And a nice kind of sugar sweetness, too.
This is a corn whiskey. This should still be the blue roasted corn. It's a pot still made from roasted blue corn. The same as the True Blue and the Baby Blue. Pot distilled straight corn whiskey.
That's good.
Yep. Yeah. Very nice.
I think I like it better than the regular.
FR.OAK is still standing out to me.
Right. Now.
The very last.
We're hitting a peated.
Peated Texas single malt. Go first. On this one, I saved this one for last, 65.2%. Usually when you do a lineup or you do some sort of a tasting, if you have something that's peated in there, put it towards the end.
Because it'll take over, baby.
Peat can take, but I tell you what, I think the senses have already been taken over by some of these. Peated Texas single malt whiskey, pot distilled. Are you getting the peat?
Yeah, mid palate.
Wow.
Mid palate.
I didn't get the peat, but I got the alcohol.
It'll get you. Peat's mid palate. Ooh, the finish is sweet. Wow, sweet. Nougat. Maybe a touch of cherry even in there.
It was very sweet up front.
I don't get like a
chocolate.
huge peaty. There's no ashtray. There's nothing that you would expect from like an Isla.
Right. Cherry cordials.
Yeah, the cherry's odd that the cherry popped in.
It's the little chocolate bites with the cherry and the little syrup in it.
But this tastes good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get those. I'll be like, thanks, and then trash can. But you're right. That's exactly the kind of cherry that's in here with that little gelatinous sugar that surrounds the cherry. It's that level of sweetness.
I don't know if you can see that color. This is very dark too. Not as dark as the FR.OAK. And they have on the back, this is aged at least 36 months. Only 3 years old. That's what Texas does.
Yeah. Good, but the cherry sweetness is interesting. Not bad. Not my favorite, though.
Yeah, lighter peat, rich oaks, Texas all the way.
Sagebrush on the forefront. Touch of peat in the middle. Then it's gone for me.
Yeah, it's very light. It's lighter.
Yeah.
At least on my palate. My palate has been...
That cherry thing was interesting in there. I actually thought I was weird when I started to say it. I was glad when you backed it up with the cherry cordial.
I'm glad we're done with that one.
Yeah.
I'm calling my favorite French oak, and then...
For me, that French oak is there, that Texas rye, and then that single barrel Texas single malt. I like more. Mm-hmm. I like the cocoa notes. I like how this is the rye, but very different. And that French oak with the ribbons of wood. I don't even know, but I just see these ribbons of wood coming through there. Unbelievable.